Well, welcome all. It's another wonderful session of the HubSpot Admin Hug. Thank you for making this your weekly event to connect with and learn from and lean on all the other admins in the HubSpot ecosystem. I'm your host, Deanna Giloff. Thank you for all of the community members, some on screen, who are helping me while Kyle is out snuggling his little baby. If this is your first hug, welcome. We're happy you're here. Let us know where you're from in the chat. And if you're a regular and you joined us before, thank you for coming back and spending some time with us. We've got a ton of guests this week, so let's dive right in. If you are on this page, you have joined an event before. All of the events are listed here. I will have the sessions that we are not doing at the end of the year because of the holidays on here by the end of the day, so you can go ahead and get that calendar sorted for yourself. If you miss a session and you just want to check something out, or you missed a question and you want to hear the answer, go ahead and make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. All of the events are posted on there as soon as I get a chance to do that. We've got a lot of content that you're welcome to go back and check on. If you are looking for your fellow admins, you can go connect with them right on LinkedIn. It's a great place and a great space. As soon as I have information, I'm sharing it there. We've got a lot of other admins that are sharing. They're awesome there as well. Another space that we have, that HubSpot community, right there, you can go. We have our own space, but you can also check out all of the other amazing content that's shared on there as well. If you've got something amazing to share, please, 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 anytime, if you are working on something, you're like, you know what, other people would like to hear this, go ahead and fill out the show and tell form. We're constantly looking for your amazing talent to come feature on the Admin Hug. So go ahead and fill that out. And no matter when it is, we will get you on as soon as we can. The boot camps, they are right now, the fall boot camps are closed, and they are doing registration for the winter session. So make sure you're checking back. It looks like December 22nd, the wait list is going to be notified on the new boot camps that are coming up. Bevy is our platform. If you have any issues, something's not showing up, you can't hear what's going on, go ahead and refresh your screen, check your Chrome is updated, and you can see other items here. Turning it off, turning it on again always works. You got an idea? I want to hear it. If there's something that you're talking about with the community and you're like, hey, that would be a really great topic for the hug, go ahead and submit it. I've had a lot of people tagging me on stuff in LinkedIn, which is great. Gives me some ability to go and say, hey, like, people are actually looking for this. Make sure you come and join us on the hug. If you are hanging out on LinkedIn, go ahead and make sure you're connecting with myself, with Kyle, with your other Admin Hug community members. It's a great place to do that. And you can check out all the other links that are here. They're always available for you to check out. And we've got a great product team joining us today. Please introduce yourself and tell us all about what you got.
All right. So hi everyone, I'm Cam. I'm a product lead here at HubSpot, and I work with our brand tools. So I am going to walk you through today a little bit on our brand identity tool. So brand identity is where you go to define the context and characteristics of your brand, basically to express the personality of your company so that you can connect with your customers. The goal of the tool that I'm going to show you is to already have some of the information in there. So we'll walk through it together so that when you use that information that's in there across all other tools in HubSpot, you kind of can scale your content creation in a much faster way. That's it. Let's get to the good part, which is the actual demo of this tool. All right. All right, cool. So I am on what we call a brand home. You'll see it here in the on our content part of the menu. So your brand identity is made up of three pieces: your brand kit, your brand voice, and your context. Your brand kit are all of the visual aspects of your brand. So you can think of it as logos, the colors, the fonts that you're using. And if you have the brand kit set up in here, it will show up in other tools across HubSpot, notably in our editors. So for example, if I was editing the color of our menu, You'll see here that I have all of my brand colors that I have previously set up in my brand kit. And then you have your brand voice. Your brand voice is really your tone of voice, it's how your brand presents itself, is how you talk. And we have here personality, we have the default tone, mission, any terms to avoid, and then replacement rules and inclusivity rules. Something that is new as of inbound is that if you don't have a brand voice set up, we can automatically scan your website, your domain, and we can then add some brand voice, inferred brand voice for you here. So we can look at what your voice is already based on your domain that we have, and then add the information here. With the goal, again, being that you come in here and you can refine it, but we already have a start for you. And then brand voice, you can also customize by channel. So let's say that on blog, you want a bit of a different tone. You want it actually to be a little bit more conversational. You could change that here. Or if you wanted a different tone in one of the different social channels, that's also something that you can do over here. And then brand voice is used, again, in several tools across HubSpot. It is in Breeze Assistant, for example. It's in the editors. It's also in things like the prospecting agent. So when you're setting up your agent, you can decide to use your brand voice, and you can customize it right here. You can also then customize some of the rules that we talked about in terms of like terms to avoid and replacement rules. And then finally, we have additional context. Additional context is information that is good context for us to give an LLM when we are creating content for you. The goal here is to create content that is more specific to your industry, that relates more to specific pain points of your company. So when you're looking at this, you'll see that we have the source here. What's happening in the background, as soon as your account is set up in HubSpot, we use that domain that I mentioned before to scan your website. We also look at all the Breeze data that we have, and we look at your CRM data. We look through all of that to then add the information in here. You can always come in here and edit the information if you want to. But again, the idea is that we're giving you a really good first draft of what your brand identity is to save you some time. And something that is cool, again, also news of inbound, is that you can come in here and look at your customer sentiment, for example. And these themes can be pulled in from your domain, from your website, but they can also be pulled in from your CRM. So for example, if in customer calls, it is coming up, that there's a positive brand association, people are really loving a specific product or a specific part of your strategy, it would show up in here. And then this gets used in the tools that create content with AI across HubSpot. One of those tools is our blog research agent. And you'll see here, they have brand information. So when you are setting up your agents, you also get to use this information if that's something that you would like to do. And then finally, something that is new is that you can now manage multiple brands within a portal with brand identity. So here I have my main brand that it has its own brand voice, but I can change to my second brand, which will have like its own brand voice and brand identity and brand kit. So this is pretty new as of inbound. It's in private beta right now. If you are interested, feel free to reach out and I will happily add you to our beta. Now, I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek into what we are doing next year. So we are working on enhancing tone of voice. Obviously, how we write in the age of AI is changing rapidly. And we are going to adapt to how your brand personality is captured, specifically in the brand voice piece of the tool that I just showed you. And we're also going to do some more to make sure that, the brand voice adapts to the different audiences that you're talking to, and it has maybe different contexts for different audiences. Then we are also going to focus on brand awareness. So basically making sure the businesses are more visible in the new AI landscape. A big part of that is brand monitoring. How's your brand being perceived in different channels? And then finally, we are going to expand the multi-brand support that I just showed you. We're going to create a more cohesive experience between multi-brand and brand identity so that you can manage everything about your brand in just one spot and make it pretty easy. That's it for me. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Blake.
Cool. Hey, folks. My name is Blake Reichenbach. I'm a PM at HubSpot, obviously, for our new AEO tool, so our answer engine optimization tool. And I really love following Cam and talking about AEO because brand has such a big influence on how you appear in AI engines, AI search, Google overviews, LLMs, etc. And I think that one of the really cool opportunities, especially as marketers that we have, is to like start making deeper inroads into brand marketing. And AEO is one of the ways that we get to do that. So I'm going to walk through the current private beta, which is currently eligible for Content Hub Pro and Enterprise customers. It is a limited private beta, so if you have requested access to this and have not received it yet, hello, hi, I'm the problem, it's me, to quote a pop star. I am adding people slowly as we go. So if you're here today, you've applied, haven't got access, please feel free to reach out to me and I can see what I can do to help fast track you. Wink, wink, I can fast track you. I want to give a quick caveat that this is not a customer portal. This is a test portal that I am using, so this is no sensitive data or anything like that. But I'm going to walk you through how the current AEO beta functions. So I'll start by saying that this beta is going to be best suited for folks who are using HubSpot as their CMS. If your content is not hosted in HubSpot, we're not going to be able to do much with it at this time, but that is coming soon. For now, for customers who have their content hosted within HubSpot, when you first arrive at this tool, we'll walk you through a setup process where you define your ICPs, if you haven't already, as well as your core products and services, if you haven't already. Now, these are currently stored in your AI data sources settings, but we'll take you to that directly through the UI here. And then once you give us that information, we're going to kick off a scan of your site where we go through all of your content. And behind the scenes, we're building something known as a knowledge graph, where we're basically taking all of your content and looking at what are the concepts that you're exploring, what are the problems that you're solving, how do all of these puzzle pieces fit together? And from that, we're then constructing an overview of the topics that your businesses cover, which is what I'll show you first. So this is our current topics overview part of the tool. Again, this is a test portal, so yours will probably look a little bit different. But we start by taking all of those topics and then breaking down what their relative discoverability is. So discoverability is not a measure of, hey, here is a guarantee that this topic is showing up, 80% of the time, for example, in AI search. What this is saying is like, based off of the best practices for the types of content that tend to do well in AI search, on a scale of 1 to 100, here's roughly how this topic is scoring. And for any of the topics that show up for your business, we can drill in to get a little bit more insight into why it scored the way that it scored, and also how our AI understands the relevance of this topic to your business. But my favorite part of this part of the UI is when you scroll down, we'll show you the content that we have associated with this topic. Soon this will be editable. Right now it's not. But if there is a page that you think should be here that isn't, or if there's one that is here and you think, well, actually, I would rather see this with another topic, you will be able to make those changes in the very near future. But what this part of the tool does is when you click into any of these pages, we give you some insights into how the tool or how this piece of content is currently aligned with your business's broader offerings, your business's mission. And then we give you individual recommendations for things you can do within this piece of content to help it be better aligned to what AI engines are looking for. So when you see all of these recommendations, if you click on review recommendations, what that's going to do is take you into the editor with these recommendations already loaded into your sidebar. So you can have them as a quick reference to go through and start making these updates. So, if you're looking here and realizing like, oh yeah, I haven't really integrated my brand's unique point of view and like what our experts are saying, great. You see that nudge here, you're able to go into your content and make those updates so that you're better demonstrating your expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, more likely to receive those citations and referrals. One of the other parts of this app that we've started building out is what we're calling your AEO opportunities. So when I mentioned that behind the scenes, we construct that knowledge graph where we're looking at all of your concepts, how well they relate to each other. Part of what that does is create an assessment of like how strong that relationship is within your content. So, if you have content about A and B, and they're really, interconnected and cross-reference each other a lot, then like that's going to be a strong relationship. But maybe A also relates to C, and you haven't talked as much about that relationship. In AEO opportunities, those are the spaces that we're going to be surfacing for you. So what are the things that are related that your brand, is well positioned to establish some authority, but hasn't yet really fleshed out in its entirety? And similar, if you go in here and take a look at these topics, we'll give you some high-level details about what the topic is, why we think it is a good fit for your business, and then we're going to give you some content suggestions for things that you can create to flesh out your coverage within this topic. So here, for example, if you click into one of these example pieces of content, we'll reference some potential queries in AI search that it could be tied to, how your brand's unique value proposition can be incorporated. And then we give you just a few clicks to go ahead and draft that blog post. Again, this is another area where this is a private beta that is actively under construction. So right now, for example, you're limited to creating blog posts off of these recommendations, but soon that will be expanded into more content types, and you'll have some more options for how you go about generating these. I'll refrain from generating in the demos because that can take a little while. And while I love to yap, I don't think you all want to hear me yap while my screen loads and gets the blog post up and running for you. So a few more details that I want to walk through in the demo is here on your main dashboard. You can quickly see your ICPs and what products and services are set up in your portal, set up in your data sets. This is really important because we reference these when we are generating those recommendations I was just showing. With AI search specifically, one thing to always keep in mind is like, you're mainly going to be targeting those like branded and transactional, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel types of queries. And so progressively, we want to give you recommendations that are like deeper in the funnel, longer tail, more specific, more precise, because that's really where that brand element of like, who are you as a business starts to show up and help you stand out within AI search. So having these directly in the tool and up to date is very important for helping us get our recommendations right. Finally, if anyone has used the AI search grader or the AEO grader that HubSpot put out earlier this year and said, oh, that's cool, I can see my relative share of voice and my brand sentiment inside these AI training sets. Correct. Yes, you can. You can also do that here inside the product with the brand sentiment and share of voice tools that we give you in the AEO app. So clicking into either of these, you'll be able to see a high-level overview of your data. You can swap between OpenAI, Perplexity, and Gemini. And just like with the AEO Grader app that's on the HubSpot marketing site, you can also rerun your analysis. So, put in your company name, geography, industry, your products and services, and start that analysis, and you'll be able to get that updated report. This is another area where what we currently have and what we will have in the very near future, very slightly different. So we are working to make this so that you don't have to rerun this report at a regular cadence to get updated information. We will just do that for you and help you track your month-over-month progress for your sentiment and your visibility. And then another thing to note is that the current micro app and the current tooling that's used right now is not using the live web retrieval version of these endpoints. So that means that the answers you're getting back are based on what is in the training data. It is not a live web search RAG system. So that is another thing that will be updated in the very near future, where you can see not only what is in the training data, which could be 6 to 9 months old, depending on the model, but also live, real time. How is your brand evolving based on your actions? So that covers what I wanted to cover in the demo. One final comment that I will make is I did see a question about language coverage, and I saw a question or a comment that Tobias popped in about competitor tracking. For language coverage, I do want to note that right now the UI is going to return your results in English. We are working toward localization and globalization, but if you have ever worked with a tool that just does a layer of machine translation on top of English content, it's not always the best. And so we want to be a bit more thoughtful for how we implement that in a tool like this. And then for the comment about competitor tracking, I've already semi-tongue-in-cheek said wink, wink before, but what I'll say to that is wink, wink. Stay tuned. Stay tuned is what I will say with regards to competitor tracking at this time.
Awesome. That was great. Love the ending on that. All right, Joe. Show us what you got.
All right. Just give me a second here. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Filbrun. I'm a senior product manager on our social team within Marketing Hub. And so excited to show you a few of the new features within our social tool that we've released in the last few months, and are really aimed at helping you reach and engage your audience on social media. So this is an area where we've really been investing a lot in the last several months, and have been hearing great feedback from our customers, and excitement about the capabilities that we're adding and the direction that we're going. So I'd like to share some of that with you. And I just also, as I start, want to note that social plays a really pivotal role throughout the whole loop. Express, tailor, amplify, and evolve. Social is a critical part within that. And so that's an area where we're going to continue to focus on making it easier, faster, and more unified for you to leverage the power of the HubSpot platform to succeed on social. So today I'm going to show you a couple of things. First, I want to show you how to train your social AI. There are a few betas available within the social tool related to kind of social post agent capabilities. And so the one that I'm showing you right now is the social post agent itself, which is kind of a separate experience that helps you draft currently posts related to calendar events that are coming up. So helping you to create a publishing calendar based on relevant events that are coming up on the calendar. But within this agent, and also the other agent experiences within social, we have this Train My Social AI. And so I'm just going to click on that. And what this is going to do, similar to what Cam showed with the brand identity, is kind of creating a social identity. So currently it's not integrated in with the brand identity, but that's definitely a direction that this should be able to keep going. But what you can do is you can train your social AI and how you want your posts to be published. So you have things like adding a target audience, whether you do or don't want to use emojis, or maybe sometimes you can put in keywords that you want to avoid, a maximum number of hashtags. You can put specific hashtags that you should use or should avoid, and then you can test how all of this works. So I'll show you that in a minute. Also want to note that you can do this this shared settings tab is across all of the social networks, but you can also do specific settings for specific networks, knowing that the way Facebook works versus Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. is, there are nuances there in the ways that you might want to interact, the ways you might want to talk to those different audiences. And so you can do those same kinds of settings there. And then we have a general training across all of the networks, which you can customize. So I've added in this one that we're going to always end the post with "Hi Admin Hug," and that's just kind of a fun thing that I can show you in a second. And then additionally, you can upload your brand materials. So I have a document here that is kind of a brand guidelines doc, and so I'm just going to drag that in and upload that. And we'll give it a second here, and I will hope that everything comes in quickly. And there we go. So it took that PDF that I uploaded, and it pulled out more of these memories that will be used to train the social AI. And so I'm going to go back over to here, and we're just going to apply that and see what we get. So this is creating a Facebook draft for us, and so it's pulled in all of our social identity to create this draft. And at the end, oh my goodness, it was supposed to say "Hi Admin Hug," and I don't know if I didn't save that one. Oh. Well, that is not what I was hoping would happen. It always has worked for me in my testing. But what that will do is pull in your memories from here and create your post in that way. So I will not sit on that for too much longer, but that's how that will work. And like I said, there are 3 betas that are available related to social post AI generation within the social tool. And so you do have to be added to one of those betas. If that's something that you are not a part of and you're interested in, let us know and we will get you added to the beta. Okay, so next thing, I want to shift gears and talk about our social reply tab. So this is something that we've rebuilt over the last year, and one of the things that we've added recently is the ability to respond to Instagram direct messages from your social tab. So we have this kind of concept of a social inbox where you can see all activity and you can sort by comments, mentions, reposts, and now direct messages. So I'm just going to click on direct messages. Well, I was already on direct messages, so this is all activity. Now I'm in direct messages, and this is showing you all the DMs that have been sent to your account on Instagram. And as you can see, you can see the messages. These are all test things, so not the most interesting. We also have AI recommended replies that I can insert and then edit if I want to, and I can just insert those and reply there. That's a feature that's been getting quite a bit of usage, and customers are really happy with the way that's working. But obviously you can customize it how you want to and make that reply just the way you want. You don't have to use the AI, but it's a time saver. I also want to show one of the things that we've seen with direct messaging is that these are really high signal conversations for the most part, much more even than comments, because these are people who are taking that specific action to send you a direct message. And so we're seeing a lot of customers getting value by connecting the social profiles that are interacting with their social accounts to the CRM through contacts. And so we've added this new ability to assign a CRM contact or create a new contact if they don't exist already in your CRM. And so I'll just show you how you do that. I click the assign contact, and then I can search for my search contacts that are already in my CRM, and I can pick the one that this person is, or if I don't find someone, let's say that I type in something that doesn't exist, then I can go straight to create new, and I can create the name and add that as a new contact. And so I'll just show you one that's already been added. If I go to one that's already been added on this other tab, you can see that I have this contact, Bob Richardson, and I can see these messages that were sent from Instagram. We would also see any comments that they've made, any mentions that they've made of your brand, and the ways that they've interacted on social. And then what you're able to do with this is then, based on those social interactions, build segments and lead scores and workflows that include these contacts based on what they've done on social. I know Andres is going to show a little bit more about that in a minute. And so yeah, that's what I wanted to show of what we've done in social. And as we are looking ahead, I think one kind of teaser that I'll throw out is we are working on an integration with TikTok, which has been a highly requested feature as well. And so that's something that you should see coming in the not too distant future. And so excited to keep expanding our capabilities in social. Yeah, that's all for me.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Andres, bring us home.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So everyone saw amazing demos from Cam, Blake, and Joe, really around setting up your brand identity, setting up who your company is, so that people can start engaging with you and you can capture leads. And once you start capturing those leads, it becomes all the more important to actually segment those and start reaching out to those with a personalized message. So that's what I'll be talking about, all our new segments features. So yeah, I'm Andres. I'm the group PM over in segments. So if you have any questions around segments, lists, scoring, or even just overall filtering in HubSpot, definitely feel free to reach out afterwards. I will share a sheet after, so let me share my screen. All right. I will share this specific doc as soon as I finish talking, which walks you through all of our segments features as I present them. Really, the way to think about them is through almost what we are calling kind of the segmentation loop or a segmentation strategy, which is you want to come into HubSpot and be able to discover your segments. I'll show AI segment suggestions, the ability to analyze the segments you have and see what's working. There's a tons of new features here, including seeing the journey each segment has taken from visiting a page to deal closed, the overlap of those segments and clicking in. We have Segments Explorer, which is kind of having an analyst in your team that's actually creating ML cluster models for you. And instead of using filters and manually trying to find the right segment, you are provided those for you. And I'll show that off as well. So every row will have a link here that you can go and opt in to this rollouts. So this just gives you a bit of a glimpse of all the exciting things that we launched at INBOUND. Given a lot of them are in private or public beta, this should be helpful. So I'll show that in a minute. Let's jump in to the actual demo of these tools. Okay, so we'll start with that discover phase. Where I am right now is actually within that intro tab in segments called suggestions. I clicked on this suggestion. There's templated suggestions, and really this is meant to help you get started. So a lot of times we're dealing with cold start problems. It's really hard for us to know just, who do I reach next? How do I reach the right audience? If you set up your ICP right, if you set up your brand identity right, this will actually use all that information to suggest segments for you to reach out to. You can also tell us your goal, and we'll use that same information to suggest specific segments. So I'll click on this one. Let's say that this is a test portal, so a lot of the data is going to be a little messy, as you can see. But let's say that this one looks good. It helps me get started, and I can land right in our new builder. So a lot of you might have seen the new segment builder already. If not, definitely opt in. If you've kind of found yourself constrained inside of the list builder with just kind of the filters being on the left and not being able to see your full segmentation filters, this is where the new builder really helps, giving you insights into everything you're building, but then also giving you the ability to switch logic inside and outside each individual group. I know that that's been constraining to a lot of individual customers, so I think that will help a ton as you're building narrow audiences. The other that a lot of our customers have is trying to figure out which specific filter here is actually making up most of my audience. There's a new test matches feature that you'll be able to select all contacts for. And it's actually going to tell you, depending on the size of your database, it'll actually tell you for each individual filter what makeup of your total audience that individual filter is impacting. And you can keep using this as you're adding more and more filters. So really giving you granular insights. Let's see if it works here. Here you go. So no one's clicked the CTA, but you can imagine basically now I'm getting real-time feedback of my HubSpot segment without having to wait for this preview, helping me really build a more granular segment. So once you build that segment, we kind of talked about the discover phase. What we want to start doing is moving to that activation phase, engagement phase. Here you can, if you haven't seen it already, there's an email open rate property that you can add to your segments column. This one, let's say, and now I can see my segments based on the top engagement segments, which is a really nice way to sort my segments by. Let's say I have this one. Part of the new pieces that we've added are some critical insights here to help you understand your segment. If you care more about the table, you can just click this here and collapse those. But we're talking about activation, and this is where segments in HubSpot are really powerful, helping you use those in an omni-channel experience. So whether I want to reach them in email, I could personalize an experience via landing pages, either with AI or manually. And then given this is a contact segment, I can also, I don't have it set up on this one, but you can one-click activate it inside of ads. So sync it to your LinkedIn profile and start either doing lookalike or direct targeting. And as you start reaching each of those segments, you'll see a list of active channels here. And be able to see how that engagement is actually working. Is it working? Is it not working? Which channel is working? So each of those individual channels will show here. And I showed this a little bit in that doc, but you can use the segment comparison to get a sense of which segment is performing better than another across various pieces and seeing that overlap. Obviously, this isn't a great overlap, but you would be able to click and see where you have matches between different segments or not. So a lot of this is really helping customers like you take a step back of treating what used to be lists as just this place. You create something, you send it an email, and then you're done. And then next month you create a brand new list, you send it something else, and then you're done. There was basically a loop missing of, okay, let me go back to that segment I already reached. Let me see what worked, which message worked, which channel worked. Let me compare it to a different segment. Let me then analyze its journey, analyze the different places I'm using that segment. And then let me then refine a new message for that segment or refine that segment even further. And that's really the purpose here. One, for the reason of the rename, there's a lot of reasons behind it, including, this aspect of discovering new segments, but also because we've introduced new segment types and because it's really hard as you start chatting with Copilot in terms of creating segments for you. A lot of people would do something like, hey, create a list of contacts in Texas, and you would be provided lists the asset, not just a list of contacts. So you can imagine there's various reasons of why the name change happened. So sorry if it caused some difficulty for some of y'all, but you will see more and more that heads towards the importance of segments. So I'm seeing the journey here that we mentioned. Now we're in the Analyze tab. I can select various segments to see how their journey together looks like and which specific records are the ones that moved from pages to actually deal creation. So seeing which segments are actually moving the line. This again gives you an insight into the overlap piece that we mentioned earlier. So This ones aren't great, but as you click through various segments, you'll be able to see what the overlap looks like and then where they meet together. And potentially that's a new segment you want to create. So that's our analyze. We do also have, this is what I shared in the doc, which is, a lot of times filtering yourself, guessing is not the best way to approach segmentation. That's where we're investing a lot of time right now into improving this Explore tab. Again, it's having an ML engineering at your disposal that's going to look throughout your HubSpot data, build out tiers. So here it builds engagement tier based on email open rates. And then under that tier, it's going to say, hey, let's break this down further. What are the key segments that are engaging with me? Ideally, it helps you find new markets that you haven't even known or explored yet. So for example, like in this one, now I know that Argentinians are really engaging with me, and now I want to build a segment and start engaging with this segment. So it's really helping you discover brand new segments or validate that you're actually reaching the right people. Finally, the last one that you saw there is our Claude integration. If HubSpot can't answer your question, ideally Copilot will always answer your question. But if you're more of a Claude native marketer, you can ask Claude to look for your segment and start asking it various questions such as, what's my LTV of this segment? How should I reach this segment? Which channel is best to reach this segment? What are the top? You can even have it like score that segment. So who is the most likelihood to convert person in this segment? So these are just various examples of how I used my segment to analyze it deeper, even created more of a persona overview of that segment. Let's say that that segment is a persona that I really care about. And now I can share this readily with my team, with all my HubSpot data, providing that relevance and context that I need. So the last thing is, I mentioned segments is expanding. It is because we have a new type of segment. Everyone's used to filtering on your CRM data. That's all your data in HubSpot. But in order to enable personalization, you really need to think about the visitors that aren't converting. And that's about 92% of everyone that visits your website. And especially in an age of AI where visitors are less and less, it becomes all the more important for all of us here to start creating really personalized individual experiences. And this is where web visitors is going to come in and help you. The best part of web visitors, I think, is that it uses all our Breeze intelligent filters. When I'm creating a visitor segment, think about Google Analytics, creating segments there, except I'm using HubSpot's Breeze filters to say, hey, show me anyone that came from the accounting industry. So it will match the visitor to a specific company that they work at. And then we will look through those filters of that company to say which technologies they use, which industry they're in, and then which events they've already taken or haven't taken. Maybe they're a first-time visitor. Maybe they've visited before. And the idea behind web segments is one, let's see, let me actually go here. That's not gonna work. So the idea behind web segments is once I create it, so for example, this is a segment of my ICP. So let's say my ICP is in Germany or Switzerland and it's companies with greater than 5 million. I'll be able to see how many out of my total traffic match that criteria. And then more importantly, I can see what industry they're coming from, what size of companies they're coming from, what country, and then there'll be a lot more data added here in the near future because our goal is that you'll know exactly which industry to personalize for, at which size, so that then you can easily start creating personalized content, whether it's a landing page or a CTA for that specific visitor segment. So next time they come in, instead of you showing them your overall landing page, which is just kind of basic for everyone, you can make your title accounting specific. You can make your subject line specific. If it's a return visitor, you can maybe try to convert them with an offer this time. Make it for manufacturing industry. I think it's gonna, 1 second, open a new tab. So this is going to create a variance experience. If you use the smart content in HubSpot today, one of the challenges with personalizing smart content is that you have to personalize each individual piece of content. What variances are going to do is allow you to duplicate the entire content and then create various variants based on that content, all of them targeted at a different either segment that's a CRM segment or a visitor segment. So you can imagine really starting to create an order of importance. So if someone comes from the software industry, let's create a very specific software industry page. If someone came from a Facebook ad, let's show them a way different message. If someone comes from a large enterprise company, let's make sure we show them a calendar link right away. So this is really our way to help you start making personalization a lot easier. There's a beta into personalization that connects really well with web segments that's gonna show you which assets are performing the best, where you're using personalization today, and also provide you personalization suggestions via an agent that's gonna match a web visitor segment to a personalization page and give you a brand new, for example, here, it's giving you a brand new CTA. It's giving you a segment right here. So people in finance services or marketing industries, based on your ICP, based on your brand, based on your web traffic, and really helping you just get started right away with personalization, which is something we all want to start moving to. So that's an example of personalization, web visitors, and lots of our new segments tools. So happy to take any questions. And then let me share this link now. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Such great feedback in the chat, just FYI. I will definitely be sharing that with you all so you can check out all of the amazing responses to everything that you shared. Admins, go ahead and take a second, go over to the Q&A, upvote your favorite. If something got missed in the chat and you are still curious about it, make sure you're putting that in there as well. I will keep resorting it. So don't think just because I started, you can't get your votes in there. So I think I gave you enough time to do that. You guys ready? I'm going to hit sort and bring us to the top. Let's see. Will AEO tools be integrated into the landing and website pages tools?
Yes. So with what we currently have in the private beta, when you're looking at your existing topics and the recommendations we're making for your existing content, that already includes your website pages and landing pages. So similar to the blog post that I showed during my demo, if you click on review recommendations, we'll take you into the editor for a website page or a landing page with those recommendations already in the sidebar. And then for the topical opportunities where we're suggesting new content to create, right now that is limited to blog posts, but yes, we are working to expand that so that it can include more types of content, because of course, you also need to make sure your product pages are visible, your pricing pages are visible, et cetera, et cetera. So that will be coming soon.
Awesome. All right. I knew if I gave them a second there, another one would take over as most voted. For web visitor segments, how are anonymous visitors matched to industries? What about visitors using cookie blockers and so on?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions like that. I posted the knowledge base that answers kind of like how HubSpot's tracking code works. So it's coupled together within the HubSpot tracking code and then leveraging our Breeze enrichment to figure out what that company is and get all the details of that company. So even if that company's not in your CRM, that's how this helps here. But yeah, there's some caveats there in terms of cookie blockers and so on that knowledge base will be able to answer. And then if it doesn't answer something, definitely feel free to reach out. But I think, William, the best thing I would do is try it out, create a segment builder that's like return visitors or maybe like an industry and see if you're getting what you're expecting to see. And if not, it could be something here. But yeah, hopefully that knowledge base helps.
Love that. I'll make sure to share that out, guys, as well. If you don't know which one he's talking about, just go ahead and go to the Q&A and click it for now. Let's see. What if your website is not in HubSpot, but your blog is?
I'm assuming this is for AEO. Yes. So with the way the current private beta works, then you would still be able to use the topics and opportunities to see insights specific to your blog. We would be a little bit in the dark at this stage as for like what else is going on your website if the rest of it's hosted outside of HubSpot. But yeah, you would still be able to get those insights and recommendations for your blog.
Love it. All right. Are there plans to release segments for the lead object?
I'd be curious to hear a few use cases. I would say there's no current plan, but we're always open to hearing if there's like, especially now that the segment object as of yesterday is a real object, it actually validates the use case a little bit. So let me pass that back to the team and see with that new change what comes. If you're in the chat, if you don't mind kind of saying what segment you would create and what you would do with that lead segment, that would also be really helpful.
Yeah, definitely share some of those use cases, because I know I saw that there's definitely a lot of conversation about the lead object. So go ahead and put those in there for the team, guys. Let's see. Resort. For brand, I know certain components are brand specific, brand kit, where others are account specific, brand voice. Will that be the case for the undetermined future? Or are you planning to make a lot of account specific things more adjustable on the brand specific level?
Yes, we have the beta right now going. It's a private beta. But with that beta, you can already customize your brand kit, your brand voice, and the context per brand.
Beautiful. Let's see. I'm going to answer this one out loud just because you already put something in here, Camila. So do you need to be a super admin to set up the branding? And Camila, you said, yes, you do today. All right. And how do you scan for the brand voice?
That's a good question. We do it automatically. So as long as we have your brand domain, we do it automatically. Something that I didn't show because it's not live yet, but it will be pretty soon, is we're going to give you the ability to recrawl domain or retrigger kind of like that scan if you want to. But as long as you have your brand domain, it should happen automatically.
All right, some feedback and question in here. These are great features. The challenge for lots of orgs is the jump to Content Pro and Enterprise is a big price jump from sites managed on other platforms. Is there a roadmap to making these more affordable credits, for orgs that can't go from $500 per year outside of HubSpot to $500, $1,500 per month for Pro and Enterprise? And it's okay to say, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of like feature dependent versus individual one. So if there's a specific feature that's like, hey, like this one would really actually help within the starter use case, I think that's one where we can kind of look at it feature by feature. I would say a lot of new features, especially as we launch at HubSpot, tend to start a little bit higher and then able to come down as we get feedback. You likely wouldn't see a lot of features kind of start really low and then almost like move up. So that's probably why it feels like a lot of these are also kind of higher up. Is because of that kind of sequencing where you never take something away, but you give something to others. But if there's a specific feature that's like, hey, like this one, like I'm setting all this up in starter, you're giving me 90% of the stuff and then just this 10% of the stuff isn't, like definitely let us know because it's not perfect. So if there's something we can look at, that's definitely helpful.
For sure. And, like I said, guys, I will make sure to share the Q&A and the chat and the feedback with the team. So put that in the feedback form, put that in the chat, share your use cases and your thoughts.
Yeah, and I'll just add to what Andres said and say that like for AO specifically, we don't currently have like hey, here's when we're going to explore starter offering. But I think for my teams, a lot of the conversations we have, like we don't want to gatekeep our features. We want to get it in front of as many users and as many customers as possible. And so I think for us then figuring out like what is the right size offering at the starter tier is kind of one of the ongoing conversations that we have.
Of course. Let's see. Lindsay says, can we please get more customizable and/or groups for segments? Currently, my only workaround is to have one group with all or statements and another group with all and statements. Then two are combined by an and statement.
Yeah, there's a use case that I'm thinking of, and that might be out. That might be it. Lindsay, if you could reach out to me afterwards, if not, just here on LinkedIn. But I'm guessing it's like a marketing contact segment or like filter that you want to use across all your groups. That's definitely like one of the current use cases we're thinking about. So like the first one is just making and/or logic way more flexible inside and outside the group. I think now you also have exclude, which is at the bottom, which you just exclude anyone from that criteria. I think there's a world where likely you get like an include. So it's like also just make sure you include only marketing contacts and then worry about your filters. If that sounds like the right thing, definitely let me know. And then if that doesn't sound like the right thing, also just message me on LinkedIn.
Let's see. What kind of resources or templates will there be to help in making sure our brand guides are generating helpful content?
I know our Academy team is currently working on some content in terms of helping create like brand identity in HubSpot to make it more helpful for all of your content. So stay tuned for that.
Let's see. The web visitors is very B2B. Is there plans to focus B2C targeting?
Yeah, I think there's a few filters that you'll be able to use to help you get a sense of your B2C targeting in terms of location, device type, region. And then more insights will come in terms of which pages they're landing on. A lot of the enrichment kind of helps with the B2B perspectives, like which company, and it's a little bit easier to personalize from like a segment perspective to an industry or to a company. I would think about it from a region and device perspective for now. But if you have, again, like a very specific thing you'd like to see there that's like B2C centric, maybe it's like products they've seen or pages they visited. Like you could do pages visited. So you could say like anyone that's visited my shopping cart page more than once, let's show them this new offer. So there's ways around it, but if there's specific insights that you would like to be defaulted, again, very early on, especially on this beta, so you can assume we're pretty much going to be working on them for the next quarter or so. So if there's insights that you'd like to see, definitely let me know because we can add them.
Love that. Let's see, I resorted and now I can't find where we were. Okay. Does the social agent have integrations with Canva or plan to have any to help keeping images consistent?
So I was just digging into this because it's not an answer that I knew offhand. I do believe that the Canva app for HubSpot, the images created there should be available when you're selecting images for a social post, but that's something that I will need to verify. We do also have the ability to generate, use AI to generate images in line with the social post. So that could also be something that would be helpful there.
I see we probably get one or maybe two more. What workflows have you used with these tools to automate some of the tasks to reduce the workload and increase the effectiveness of marketing pros? Any resources or tools or flows that you can think of that would be great tips to share? And definitely something you can follow up after if there's something you think of that you need to dive into a little bit more.
What was the question? Sorry, I think I missed it.
Are there any workflows that you've used with these tools or the new tools coming out to automate some of the tasks to reduce workload and increase effectiveness of marketing professionals?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I think some of the cheat sheet that you had shared with the hows and what's and what it looks like is definitely a resource that would be great to get that conversation started.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some interesting ideas in terms of like, especially as we talk about like ICP and brand identity and segments in terms of like creating workflows that tag individual records into one of those ICPs that you've created or personas, and then be able to personalize for those and try to do that within the workflow. So I think there's probably a really interesting case there. Just haven't gone too deep into it.
Yeah, totally true. Let's see. I think you already answered this, Blake, but are there other languages on the roadmap soon? That was something you had mentioned.
Yep, answer is soon. Right now, like I mentioned, your results will return in English, but we are actively working to support fully localized interface.
Love that. There are a ton more questions. What I will do is I'll make sure to get those exported, share those with the team. They can answer, async in the community, in LinkedIn, and even come back to the Hug at any point and share that information with us here. If the admins want to reach out to you, does LinkedIn work best for all of you, or do you prefer your email?
LinkedIn or email is fine with me. I can drop my email in the chat. It's Reichenbach@hubspot.com. But I don't expect folks to be able to spell Reichenbach.
I'm going to drop all of the LinkedIn links in there as well for everyone. Well, team, I appreciate you coming and sharing all of the amazing information. There's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to trying out myself. I know that the admins have that as well. I will see you all next Tuesday, and have a great week. Bye, everybody.
Welcome to the admin hub. No flash, just facts and a whole lot of love. Get it done. Accidental or all in by choice. Admin and spies and lift their voice. Fixing fields and hacking time. Making magic with no headline. Guy drops gold, Tiana brings fire in a crew that's here to lift you higher. We swap the wins and share the pain. No one's solo in this game. It's the admin hug, where legends log in. From chaos to clarity, that's how we win. Dirty data challenge accepted, portal perfection fully connected. Quick fix queens, work around kings, custom coded everything. Tabs open, coffee strong, you've been solving all along. We've got the know-how, we've got the map. Even HubSpot protocols up to chat. You're not just heard, you help shape the tools. Admins rewriting all the rules. Thanks for building with the hug. Thanks for powering the hub. Behind the campaign, push and nudge. There's a whole crew holding tight. Admins together, powered by insight.